What is your local setup in this cursor project? Because it seems like everything works out of the box, and it's a very good experience. Are you using skills, or how are you structuring the repo?
This is all driven by bun. This was bun init dash yes, and that link that I posted in at the top. This button here. I don't use skills. I don't know if I like skills. I kind of like just like grabbing information when you need it. I think I prefer things to be in npm packages. So I think I want to just the website should be markdown native and crawlable very easily, and then node modules should be greppable, and then it can just find everything it needs, and then there's no syncing problem, like you're using the version that you're using. So there's no setup here. It's just coding agents are that good now. You can just give it a page and it can do it. Yeah.
That's great.
There was one question in chat, which I think that somebody already answered, but I'll raise it up the stream so that other folks can hear the answer. But the question was, so in Alchemy, if I read from DynamoDB, for example, it will only add read policies, and when I start writing to it, it will automatically only add the write policies as well. If yes, then that is very cool.
Yes, it naturally flows, right? Like in order to write, I must declare write dependency, get the function, and then call write. And like language models think in that order. They always go from top to bottom. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but they write utilities at the top of the file. And I hate that. And then they write the actual thing. It's because LLMs think in that direction. So like this is designed to be like, oh, I want to do this. So I add that at the top and then I use it. Bind, use, bind, use. That's the pattern. Yeah, so the policies just emerge from the building of the app, right? The bindings and the policies all just emerge naturally. You don't have to like teach AI. First, you must add this over here and make sure you do an environment variable, and then go over here and grab the environment variable and create an SDK, and then go over here. You don't do that. It's just linear flow through your code. Yeah.
Funny, because I think we have discussed the way of deriving policies for months. And
yeah, I went down a deep rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think you went down a pretty deep rabbit hole in trying to do the reverse.
Yeah, I did.
And
I'm glad I did.
So nice to
yeah. The lesson
there rabbit holes, of course.
The lesson there is encapsulation matters. That's what I found out. Is like I was trying to do it the reverse of you just use the bucket and then you provide the policy as a layer. And that was cool because that my dream has always been static analysis of the code, infer IAM policies, guaranteed least privilege. And that one was guaranteed least privilege. But like, you're right, it's excessive, you know. But the problem is they all have to bubble out. So you end up with this problem of like the dependencies of this thing, this fetch call needs to bubble out. And that breaks encapsulation. Now you can't build layers properly. You got to build all these hacks to transform the function, grab the requirements, and you can't transform generic functions in TypeScript. So it's wrong. It's just straight up wrong. I think, you know, in a different language, maybe you could do it. But then again, the more I learned about layers, I was like, oh no, like this is perfect. Just initialize the layer, return the implementation. That pattern is composable naturally, very easy to write, and gives you pragmatic guarantees around your policies. And that's perfect. You know, that's great.
We call it the constructor pattern or the service pattern.
I've been looking for a new name. I don't have a good name. I call it init. I've got init and plan time. I think I might go with constructor. That's good.
A layer is really just like an effectful constructor at the end of the day that can have dependencies. So
I was also calling higher order effect. I don't know if that's a thing. It's an effect that returns an effect. I use that a lot, like effects that return effects.
I think it's easier to grok. I mean, it's a layer is an effectful constructor. Is like a thing that's like when I try to explain it to people, it makes it a little bit easier for them to understand. But
yeah, but it's not as cool, right?
Higher order effects.
Higher order effect. You know, you get
this isn't React, bro.
Yeah.
Like higher order functions, just functions.
Yeah,
just functions.
You're right. You're right.
There was one question that I want to close with, which is there a concept is there a concept of environments similar to SST in Alchemy?
Oh yeah, there's stages, right? So this is just using the default stage. So the default stage is your username, right? It's just like dev_username, but you can do stage prod here, and that'll give us a clean state. Goddamn AWS is slow. So that's a new environment, right? So like, for example, pull requests. Let me pull up the docs.
And maybe you could also show how, if possible, you can use the stage inside the program as well.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh, there it is right there. You can just yield star stack. It's an effect service, and every stack and resource can access that, and on it is stage, stack name, and some other metadata. So you can just grab that. I sort of skipped over that in the Lambda one. Let me show you that. For example, in Lambda, you might want to tune the memory for prod differently than dev, right? But in order to get this to be a function that can be bundled and run somewhere, I have to export default, right? I can't have a function. I can't call it with arguments. So the way we plumb that through is effect service, right? So the properties of a resource can also be an effect. And then through that, you can grab requirements like the stack. And here I'm tuning the memory, giving it more memory in prod, for example, or pick a different instance type in prod, or pick a different instance type in the US East region. All plumbed through with effect context.
Very
One
nice.
thing I'd like to mention actually is I've been trying to build something like this for maybe like 5-6 years, and it's kind of crazy. And I built one on CDK. It was called Punch Card, and it was runtime and infrastructure code all together, right? A long time ago. But it had the problem of like, I want to deploy my app. I don't want to deploy the app with all the CDK code in the bundle, right? So my bundle was like 30 megabytes, 50 megabytes, something crazy. Effect context finally allows me to build infrastructure that is aware of all the resource providers, but they don't end up in the bundle. It's so cool. Like, because we provide the layers here, this is the heavy code. This is going to be like, megabytes and megabytes. But your application code is just declaring a queue here. This queue is nothing. It's just a data structure. It's just an effect with the data structure. So that unlocking, the decoupling that layers give us, is what is allowing us to build what is technically almost like a cloud programming language. People have tried it before, and they build special syntax in different language, or they build bundling hacks on top of existing TypeScript. And I've done all that. Effect just solved it like in one go. Just layers give you decoupling, and you can just sort of layer, and you get infrastructure containing runtime code, and it all flows, and it's all tree shake optimal. So I just want to call that out.
What is the build process? Do you just strip out those things and like, because obviously here code is fused with
so this is just roll down, and like the provider. So if I go to the queue does nothing. It's just a data structure, and then this is the provider code. You can see why I've got this closure here. I'm trying to figure out how to do this with a roll down plugin. Like there is a way to do it, and I have.
We have a roll down plugin. You can just copy it.
I did. I copied it the other day. I'm working on it. It doubled the bundle time, unfortunately, but like yeah. You could also just add an arrow function and type, and roll down knows this is pure, and it will tree shake it away. So yeah, the answer is no magic. Just basic roll down bundling, and maybe a plugin, because side effects false means nothing apparently. Yeah.
But if it did double your bundle time, tell it to Sebastian, because I feel like he has built the plugin, and most likely there's like room for optimization in.
Oh yeah, ways. I skipped that step and I just told Claude. No,
yes.
We should think actually. Maybe we can put it out as a package, like a pure plugin for roll down would be cool. Like we were thinking, should we drop
nerd sniping Sebastian is so much more fun than nerd sniping Claude.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just
plus it's free inference.
Free inference.
The agency of AI. Yeah, I would love to.